those decisions. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about the power of radio and then go into a little bit more about the tips to creating a radio campaign. First, I'd like to take some time for everyone to think about where they listen and how they utilize radio. Just take a minute. How many people have a radio that they wake up to in the morning? Does anyone have a radio alarm clock? Okay. Does anyone have a radio in the bathroom? I know it's a little touchy. Okay. So this is why radio is one of the most intimate forms of media. It's with you wherever you go. It's in your car. It's at work. It's everywhere. And that's why it's a great medium to get your message out there. It travels with you. You can see some of the stats. 99% of households, I'm pretty sure it's probably 200 now, have radios, which is huge. 95% of cars have radios, and 61% of adults are listening at work, which is a huge number. People are listening all day long, practically, if they're listening at work. I know I do, but I work at a radio station, so I have to. Radio is extremely, extremely flexible in two ways. We can change your commercial every week if you wanted to. We have a customer that has sports memorabilia. So one week he's selling Giants footballs, the next day he's selling baseballs. So we can change your commercial as easy as pie. I had a client that called me on Monday saying she has an event and she's starting on Thursday. So radio is excellent. Our anchors can basically read it live if they need to, which is great. Radio influences people closest to the time of purchase or activity. If you're thinking about it, you're in your car, you're driving to your grocery store, and a message comes on about Fruit Loops. And you're going into the store, and you see Fruit Loops, not even knowing it, you purchased them because you heard it in your car, which is pretty powerful right there. So that's a little bit why radio is so powerful. Also, each radio station targets a different demographic, but it's also such a high frequency of people that you reach. So it's kind of two-tone, which brings me into the three key points that you need to look out for making a successful radio campaign. The first one is the appropriate radio station. And this is very, very key, because maybe your favorite radio station isn't the right medium for your business or your product, just because you like that radio station. So the first thing is make sure that the demographic, your target audience, matches the listenership of the radio station. Makes sense, right? The next thing is what I like to call is prospecting the radio station you're looking at. Listen to the radio station and see if there's advertisers on there already advertising similar products as yours or reaching the same demographic as you. That's a key point that makes sense for you because it's the same audience, which is great. And also another thing to consider is the AM versus the FM format. AM is typically a little bit older generation. It's sports, news, and talk. So there's people who are listening for a longer period of time versus the FM, which is a little bit younger generation. And also there's shorter listening of time because people change when they don't like a song or a commercial comes on, something like that. And also frequency is extremely important in radio. Just like any other form of advertising, you need to hit your target audience a certain amount of times for them to soak in the message. And what I like to say is that the third time's the charm. So if you think about it, say you're out to lunch today and one of your girlfriends says, "Oh, Shelly, I went to this great restaurant this weekend, Prime, you should go." You're like, "Oh, that's great, my friend had a good time at the restaurant." Then tomorrow you're out to lunch and your other friend says, "Oh, I went to this great restaurant called Prime last weekend with my husband, the food was great, the dessert was spectacular." You're like, "Oh wow, two people like it." Then the third time you're out to lunch, you hear it again and your friend's raving about the same restaurant. You're like, "Give me the phone, I need to make a reservation, this place is amazing." So we like to say the third time's a charm. It doesn't mean that you have to have your commercial play 3 times a day or 3 times a week. It means that you have to hit that same person 3 times. And also the creative or the commercial copy is very important. You need to decide if you want to brand your product or business or you want direct response. And of course, everyone wants to brand their business and that will come along with any advertising that you do. But if you want direct response, you want someone to pick up the phone, you want someone to go into your store and ask for a certain product. There's ways to implement that. You can, offer 5% off by mentioning the radio station that you were on. Or you can put in a who's calling number, what we like to call is a number dedicated to that piece of advertising that you're using, so you know that people calling that number are the people that heard you in that advertisement, which is tremendous. And you definitely want to follow your campaign to make sure it's working. If it's not working, you either need to get out or you need to change something. So these are the 3 key ingredients to making a successful radio campaign. And you know, if you're looking for any sort of radio, if you have any questions with anything, feel free to let me know. I'm not here to talk about CBS or anything, so feel free to ask me any questions that you have.
Okay.